Hello friends, welcome to trimester 2. This practice is going to be your mobility, strength and kind of mechanics movement practice. So we'll have a lot of fun, hopefully, isolating some of the major joints, that being the shoulders and our hips. Especially as we're moving into these stages, we might be feeling the flexibility is arriving, maybe not. And we just want to ensure that we are really conditioning our joints to still stay super supported, but also get that feeling of deep stretch that we still might want to also experience. If you can have 2 blocks for today's practice, of course you can kind of modify as you go. If I mention blocks, just have hands. And yeah, let's get straight into the movement. So we'll come to a kneeling position on our hands and knees. This will be where the blocks come in handy underneath your palms. Let your knees find a stacked position underneath their hips. Toes are tucked or untucked. And as you spread through the fingers evenly, I just want you to feel a really long spine start to arrive. Let your chin slightly tuck. Close your eyes and take a deep breath into the chest, into the belly. And breathe out. And keeping the hips relatively still, let the chest drop towards your thumbs, the arms stay straight. These are shoulder or scapular push-ups, and then pushing down into the palms, feel a spreading across the back. Now we'll do this a couple of times. I always have one side that's slightly less responsive. My left shoulder blade doesn't want to move. And you might find that you're really struggling here, or this might feel quite easy. And anything that's on our spine that we can't see with the eyes can be a lot harder to manipulate. So have some patience. What tends to happen here is that we might see a little bit more movement. It's like a cat-cow, but we're trying to avoid that. You're just moving the scapula on the upper shoulders in together, pinching and then pressing away. Try for 2 more. And don't be hard on yourself if it's not happening here. You can always come back at another time. Beautiful. Take a kneeling position. That might be with tucked toes or flat feet. Sit up nice and tall. Hands rest on your thighs. Find a tall spine as you take a full breath in and a breath out. Right fingertips place on your right shoulder and begin to move at the elbow, taking it forward, up and back. Now we're shortening the arm so that you can really focus just on your right shoulder. Without spinning the torso, the ribs, or the hips, can you really control this movement? And imagining a huge circle being drawn with your right elbow. Take 2 more. Nice. You'll carefully place the right hand down and switch sides. So left fingertips find your left shoulder. Pull your elbow forward, up and round. And I really notice here that I want to move my spine with me. I want to open up the shape. Please try and stay pretty square. And even if that means the circle feels tiny or a little bit sticky, that's what we want. Go ahead, take 2 more circles. Sending all that you can, your breath into the chest, into the belly. Good, come back down to tabletop, hands on blocks or floor. Extend the right leg behind you, the toes stay tucked on the mat. Left hand, place it on your low back so your knuckles are flush with the low sacrum. And just notice here a slight lengthening of low back if you can. That will be your pelvis tucking under. Press firmly through the right palm. Point the right toes back, so there's barely a lift of the right leg. Feel a squeeze of the right glute and begin to tap the toes up and down. This is true hip extension, and we're using the strength of the glute, trying to stay as still as we can through the right shoulder. Nice long neck, long spine. We're going to be here for 10. Your pulses might be quick, they might be slow. For 8. If you're super wobbly, you can always take your left hand and place it back down for support. For extra challenge, the hand will just stay resting. It's a reminder to fill into the back for 5. 3. Squeezing the right glute for 2. Holding the right heel high, take your left hand back down. 3-point tabletop. Take a full breath in. And a full breath out. Return the right knee down and then switch sides. Super simple. Left leg goes behind you, toes are tucked. This is a chance for you to lengthen through the back of the left knee, to bring your right hand to the low spine. So you're pulling the right elbow high, push into the left hand, point the left toes back and begin to hover. Pause. Keep a long low spine and then begin to tap. Big toe down and lifting. So rather than this being a movement from the low spine, we're truly trying to work our outer hip glute and stabilize through the spine and the core. Ooh, this side really is not as easy for me. We're here for 10. And feel free, you can go super slow and controlled. If you're wobbling, take the right hand down, support the shape. 8. 5. Stay with me. For 3. You're doing awesome. We have 2. Final squeeze and lift and hold on 1. Good. Release the right hand. Take a deep breath in. Stay for the breath out. Release the left knee in. Good. This time, take your knees slightly back and slightly wider. Push your tailbone back to the sky. Belly drops, chest opens. A really gentle cow shape. And then tuck your pelvis, chin to the chest. Can you breathe along with me here? Inhale, cow pose. Exhale for the cat pose. 2 more. Smooth breath in. Long breath out. Last one. Really free up the spine, the pelvis, the chest. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog, lift the hips. If you're on the blocks, we'll just stay there. Gives you extra length in your arms, space in the belly. Swaying left and right. Maybe swivel the heels, pushing down through the hands. Don't worry about pulling the heels to the floor, but really just getting some length from your fingertips all the way to the hip crease. Come up high onto the tippy toes and tiptoe forward towards the wrists. Remember, keep space between the feet. No need to squish the belly. Bring your blocks nice and high. If you don't have blocks, you could lean on a seat here, so you could pull a seat with you. Take your block slightly further forward of the toes, and your feet are somewhat hips distance, maybe slightly turned out, just slightly. Bend your knees more than you think you need to. Push your tailbone back and the heart forward. From here, press into left and right hand and release the right leg behind you. So feel the transfer of weight onto your left foot. There's a deep bend in your left knee, and we have that lovely long tailbone occurring. Broaden through the chest and squeeze the right heel into the butt cheek, so you're bending the right leg. Big circles here. Draw the knee up, around, without anything else moving. These might be teeny circles in the hip, you might be getting a lot of range. Please don't judge it. Keep a lot of effort through the base of your left foot. Keep a bend in the left knee. There's quite a lot of work happening through the arms as well, so we're strengthening through your arms and shoulders, but really isolate these circles of the right hip joint, squeezing the right heel in, change direction. You might feel a burn through your left leg, the standing leg, just with the effort. 2 more. Opening wide. Nice. 1 more. And we'll cross the right leg behind our left. Placing the foot down. Squeeze through the inner thighs. Come onto the fingertips. Think halfway lift. Squeezing the legs together. And slowly tuck the chin slightly and roll up. Take your time. I often get dizzy, so it's a nice opportunity just to slow the pace, to feel a balance through both feet. Reach your arms up to the sky. Hold on to the right wrist. Take a breath in, lift taller. Side bend to the left. And as you pause here, root down through the feet and a slight squeeze of the butt. And you can really take the right hand with you. As you sass the hips to the center, can you reach to the left? Beautiful side release for the hip, the armpit. Good balance challenge for the legs. 1 more breath. Come back through center. Hands meet the blocks. And then reset the feet, right foot beside the left. Nice. Bend into the knees. Take a moment to pause. Find your broad chest, tailbone back. And then left foot floats. So you're in this kind of mini standing L position. Very similar to a warrior 3. Working a bend in the front knee. Pressing through both hands. Really nice. You're going to bend the left heel in. Take your time to start circling the hip. So we're not moving the knee and the foot so much. It's all happening in the left hip. Because we've already worked the right side, that might be firing for you very quick. If you need to pause at any time, please do. We're not opening up the torso. Keep pressing through the hands. Just your left hip. Again, you choose a speed that works for you. The slower the better. Slower the better. Ooh, I was really avoiding moving through my full range there. So be honest. We'll change direction. If you need to rest your hands at any point, you'll just stand up, shake out the wrists. Please, 2 more. Work the hip. We come into our crossed-legged position. Left foot steps behind into the side of the right. Come onto the fingertips. Slowly transition up as you root down into the feet. Squeeze through the inseam of the leg. Ooh, big breath in, arm sweep. Catch your left wrist, breathe in. Side bend to the right. So we're reaching the hands away from the hips, and the more you pull your body weight to the center of the mat, that might feel really yummy. It might be too intense. Slight tuck of your tailbone and a squeeze up through the inseam. 2 more breaths. Good. As you release, hands come down to the blocks, and then stepping the feet hips distance again. Good. Let's shimmy the blocks off to the side if we're using them. Come down onto the hands and knees. Beautiful. From here, soft belly, inhale, cow pose. To downward facing dog, tuck the toes, push the hips back. Right leg to the sky, inhale. Stepping the foot wide outside the right hand, or as close as you can get. Drop the back knee down, untuck the toes. Right hand to the sky. Now notice I'm spinning my right toes out and creating all this space for the belly. You might still stay on a block under your left hand. Peel open the right shoulder, but really feel the shoulder sit back in the socket. One more breath. Place the right hand down. Tuck the back toes, downward facing dog, bent knees. Left leg to the sky, breathe in. Stepping as wide outside the left fingertip. Drop the back knee, untuck the foot. Left toes might spin out as you open the left hand. Getting a nice release through the ribs, deepening in the hips. No softening into right elbow, but push into the right hand. One more breath. Good, left hand releases. Tuck the back toe, downward dog, step back. Right leg to the sky, inhale. Stepping wide outside the right hand. Back knee lowers, untuck toes, right hand to sky. We see the pattern now. We start to speed up. Right hand lowers, tuck back toes, downward dog. Left leg to sky. Step wide. Back knee down, untuck toe, left hand lifts. And release. Downward facing dog. One more time, right leg to the sky. Stepping wide. Back knee down, right hand lifts. Nice. This time, as the right hand lowers, blocks come underneath your hands once again. Please tuck the back toes and lift the knee. So you're in an active lunge, runner's lunge. Feel the broadening of the chest. Now as you soften the back knee, begin to push the hips back and straighten the right leg. So we're in a wide pyramid. You should feel a deep stretch down the back of the right thigh, your hamstring. The blocks are super handy here. You can walk them in towards you and increase a length through the spine. Notice that my back knee is super bent. I'd be able to really jump off that foot if I wanted to. And then we'll linger between the two shapes. So you'll move into the front thigh, straightening back knee, a bit of coordination as you bend the back knee, push through the right leg. 2 more. Or you just take 1 more if you're enjoying one shape more than the other. No one's judging you. Pause here in your pyramid. If it feels good, you might straighten through the back kneecap. Either stay high on the toes of the back foot, or you can root down through the heel. You find what works for you. There could be a slight movement in the hips, but we're really strengthening through the legs, pressing into the floor. 1 more breath. Good. To come out of this, right toes land, back knee lowers, and take your blocks off to the side. Good. Downward facing dog. Active step back. Left leg to the sky, breathe in. Step wide outside the left hand. Back knee lowers, left hand to the sky, breathe in. And release, breathe out. Get your trusty friends, the blocks. We set up for a wide pyramid. Tuck back toes, float the knee. Find your lunge first, so your hips are in line with the front kneecap. Soften through back knee. Push your hips back in space as you straighten through left leg. And don't fully straighten if it's causing a burning, a sharp pain. You have the blocks to assist. All your attention down the back of the left leg, nowhere else. And then we'll Miranda between the shapes, forward and back. I quite like this just for coordination. As you straighten the back knee, you bend the front, and then the opposite. Good. A couple more. And we'll hold here in the wide pyramid. Wide gives us that space for our torso, belly to drop, but the chest to broaden and lengthen. Finding what works for you for 3 more breaths. Release, come down onto the back knee, and the blocks can go off now to the side. We don't need them. Come down into a seat this time with your feet forward, spread through the toes. Knees can be slightly wider than your hips, hands behind you. Fingertips might turn out slightly. You might point your fingers forward. Just see how you feel in the shoulders. I want you to really draw your shoulders down the back. Let them sit where they belong. Press into the feet, lift the hips up. Maybe an inch, maybe a few inches. Maybe you get your hips in line with the knees. You're squeezing through the butt like crazy, so we're really strengthening the legs, toning through the inner thighs, pressing into the palms. I'm not taking my head all the way back. It makes me super dizzy, so I'm just gazing at the knees. You can come out at any point. We're here for 3. Keep the effort up for 2. Drop the hips. Nice. From here, come sit tall on your sit bones. You can stay on the fingertips or hands to the heart. Take your knees to the right. You can take the chest with you this time, and then knees off to the left. Good work. Just take a moment to find a seat. You might cross your thighs. You can sit up against a wall. We'll spend the last 10 breaths just to bring the practice to a close. So come along, get comfortable, let your hands feel heavy, let the eyelids close. Let your mind wander to wherever it needs to go right now, and there might be some heat in the shoulders, in the legs. And a reminder that we don't need huge quantities of movement, but just really good quality. And this should hopefully set you up for the rest of your day, your evening, wherever you are, whatever time it is. Breathe all the way down into the pelvis. Breathe out. One more full deep breath in, slow inhale. Big exhale, bow the chin to your chest. Grateful for yourself and all the changes that are occurring currently in your body. Thank you so much for joining today, this practice. Let me know how it went for you, and can't wait to move with you again soon.